Cool. All right. So thanks everyone for joining. I'm going to mute everyone. Johnny, Ralph, you're still coming out for some reason. And then at the end, we're going to open up for questions, and then we can unmute everyone, and you can fire away with your questions. So firstly, a massive thanks for joining firstly, but also for all your work, and for taking part in the challenge and for raising money. It's pretty amazing. I think we've got about 300 people either running or cycling, and we've raised, I think it's now close to or above £11,000, which is huge. And we are going to hear from Michael from the charity about where that money's going later. Yeah, it's truly amazing. Everyone should be really proud of themselves. Jonathan certainly would be. So today we just wanted to do a quick call. It's now just 4 minutes over 24 hours till the challenge. So we've got less than 24 hours till we're going to be putting our bodies through hell. So I hope everyone's ready. We wanted to use this call just to rouse the troops and give a few last minute messages. So soon I'll pass over to Michael, like I said, who works for Brain Tumour Research. And he'll talk about the charity. It's not a very well-known charity, so hopefully we'll understand more about it, and also how powerful the donations are, and how important it is to keep them coming in. Then we'll be handing over to Tommy Smith, who is kindly joining us. He's an ex-Ipswich player. We're all very excited by that because we've watched him play loads of times, and can't wait to hear him talk. He's now playing for Sunderland, and he's going to give us some tips on how we can keep alive during the challenge, stay awake, but also not destroy our bodies too much. And then I'll hand over to Jono and Tom, who's just going to go close us out, go through a few last minute things, and then we'll open up to questions. Cool. So Michael, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sorry, I was struggling with the unmute button there. So to introduce myself properly, my name is Michael Thole. I'm the head of community fundraising at Brain Tumour Research. And can everybody just unmute themselves for a second? Because what I think you all ought to do is, I think you all ought to give yourselves a big round of applause now. Because like 84,000.
We haven't done the challenge yet.
Is just absolutely amazing. So after 3, we're going to give ourselves a big clap. So 1, 2, 3. On top. Not quite there, but never mind. We'll work on reactions later. Okay, so I am going to see if I can make technology work for me, and I'm going to share a quick presentation with you. So, hopefully you'll be able to see what I can see now. Carol, can you give me a thumbs up if you can see it? Perfect. Great stuff. Right. And also thumbs up again if you can see it in the proper presentation view. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm from Brain Tumour Research, as I said, and I'm going to talk to you about where we came from, what we do, and why we do it. I'm going to try and steer away from the science bit because, frankly, I'm not a scientist and I don't understand it. So it's just easier for me if I don't talk about that kind of stuff. So first of all, what is our mission? Well, our mission is to build a network of experts in sustainable brain tumour research and campaign for more investment nationally. We want to find a cure for brain tumours, and that's our vision, to have a cure for brain tumours. Now, I want to move back to that word sustainable, because that's actually a really important word. Most of scientific research is funded on a project base. So you will work as a scientist, you will get funding for 3 to 5 years. And once that funding is done, you write up your project, you publish it in a medical journal, and hopefully somebody reads that journal and says, yeah, you're doing some really great work. here's another lot of money to go and finish off that work or to carry on that work. Now, unfortunately, scientists shouldn't be chasing money. That's not their job. Their job is to do the research. And the other problem with this model is that if a scientist doesn't get the money, then one of two things happens. The first thing is that the scientist will stay in neuro-oncology, but they will finish their work. They won't see it through all the way to the end, and they'll go off and do another part of neuro-oncology research. The other thing that happens is that those scientists move out of neuro-oncology, and then they go and look at another part of oncology. So they might look at a more well-funded thing. So we might look at prostate cancer or breast cancer or something like that. And this is bad for two reasons. One is that work never finishes. We never get to find out where that work could have gone. And the thing about science is it's about finding out all the no's as well as all the yeses. So a no, this doesn't work, is as valuable as a yes, this does work, because you've closed off an avenue. And the other thing is that it can act as a bit of a brain drain. So all the best and brightest, if they haven't got the funding, they're going to quite naturally go somewhere else. So we don't want that to happen, which means that we fund 3 centres of excellence for 5 years at a time. And now at the end of that 5 years, we sit them down and we put them through a big review of those 5 years. And it's like the longest, hardest job interview you've ever done. So it's literally a whole day of being sat down in a room in front of your peers, and your peers will have had all of your work for the last 5 years, and they will have gone through with a fine-tooth comb, highlighting every sort of mistake or everything that they've got a question about, and they will say, why did you do this? What happened here? What does this result really mean? So it's a great way of making sure that scientists keep working and they don't wander off, but also it's a really great way of making sure that we get the best research happening. So why do we do all of this? Well, it's for these reasons. And one of the big reasons that we do it is because brain tumours are indiscriminate. They can affect anybody at any time. The other reason that we do it is that brain tumours are the biggest cancer killer of children and adults under the age of 40. As you can see, there's some other really shocking statistics there, which is why we have to exist. Now, I talked about explaining some of the work that we do. So this is these are the guys from the University of Plymouth. They're led by a chap called Professor Oliver Hanneman. And they really look at low-grade tumours occurring in teenagers and adults. So tumours are graded 1 to 4, 1 being benign, 4 being incredibly aggressive. And these guys are looking at the 1s and 2s. Now, the reason that looking at the 1s and 2s is really important is because 1s and 2s can turn into 3 and 4s. And if we catch them early, they're easier to treat. The treatment doesn't have to be so invasive and therefore less damaging. So the research here is really focused on identifying and understanding the mechanism that makes a cell become cancerous. You know, what makes it mutate? What makes it change into growing so rapidly that it becomes a cancer? Once we've found out that, then obviously the team can explore ways to halt and reverse the cell damage. Moving on, we're going to go to Queen Mary University of London, which is, as you can see, led by Professor Silvia Marino, and they look at glioblastoma multiforme. This is the most common and aggressive form of brain tumours in adults. There's no known cure or effective treatment for a GBM. So this is an area of priority for us. So these researchers are looking at stem cells in particular. And for those people who have not come across what a stem cell is before, a stem cell is basically a cell that hasn't been to its careers officer yet. It doesn't know if it's going to be a fingernail, it doesn't know if it's going to be a hair follicle or a piece of tooth. And we do know that stem cells are part of what makes a cancer. It's part of what really pushes that division of cells to make something cancerous. So understanding how a tumour stem cell controls its proliferation will allow for the generation of more targeted drugs that specifically kill those cells in a more effective and much less toxic way. Now, we'll move on to Imperial College. And this is more of what we call sort of bench to bedside research. It's run, as you can see, it's run by Kevin O'Neill and Dr. Nelofer Syed. They are testing what is called the iKnife. It's an amazing piece of kit, this. This is designed to differentiate between tumour and normal brain cells during surgery, so that the removal of the brain tumour tissue is much more accurate. The reason, also the team led by Dr. Syed is investigating various aspects of brain tumour biology. In particular, they're studying how tumour cells drive their energy in order to identify new therapeutic strategies. So just like us, if you take away our food, if you take away our energy, we'll keel over and die. Hopefully, well, that's definitely not going to happen over the next couple of days, is it? No. Shake of heads, please. Good, fantastic. And the same thought is with this. If we can take away the cell energy, which is a source called arginine, then the tumour is going to shrink and eventually die. At the moment, there are 3 ways to treat a brain tumour. The first one is chemotherapy, the second one is radiotherapy, and the third one is surgery. None of those are particularly nice. None of those are going to help somebody. So if we can get rid of the energy source, we don't have to poison the body or cut the body open. And I've gone the wrong way. We also do campaigning. And the reason that we do campaigning is that out of all of the cancer research spend, brain tumours historically have got 1%. Now, seeing as they're the biggest killer, we don't think that's right. So we work with the government, we work with larger charities, excuse me, to make sure that they invest more money. And we also want to facilitate innovation by ring fencing funds for brain tumour research, and that's with a small BTR. It's not about getting money for us. We don't actually receive any money from the government. It's about making sure that the government does its job in funding this work. So we have the All Parliamentary Party Group on Brain Tumours. Now, it was established in 2005 to raise awareness of issues facing the brain tumour community. And since then, we've got MPs and peers from across the political spectrum to come in and to listen to people's experiences, to listen to that first-hand information from patients, from doctors and from scientists, to understand what the government should be doing about brain tumours. I was able to go to one when I first started with the charity, and it was actually incredibly moving to hear young people all under the age of 20 talk about their experiences, down to the fact that one girl had to move schools because of her tumour, and when she got to her new school, she had just finished chemotherapy, so unfortunately she hadn't got any hair, and from day one she was called Chemo Girl, and that it was an absolutely horrible thing to happen to her. And if you think about how much that is going to impact her as well as the fact that she had to take 2 years out of education to deal with a tumour, you can see why it was such a powerful story. The other thing that we've done is we've launched an inquiry into the economic and social impact of brain tumours. And we found that a brain tumour will cost a family, so a household, £14,783 per year versus £6,840 for all the other cancers. The other interesting thing, and something that is a bit of a hidden fact, is the cost to the wider society. Now, this can manifest itself through high costs for the NHS during treatment and rehabilitation, loss of tax revenue, and the cost of supporting brain tumour patients and their families via the benefit system. So the true economic cost we don't know, but it's estimated at 578 million per year. So it's a huge cost that society bears. And again, we want to fund this research so society doesn't have to bear that cost. Individuals don't have to find that £14,783 per year. So if I'm going to leave you with one thing tonight, what I'd like to leave you with is this horrible and stark fact. I think this really displays why we're here. For the last 30 years, there really hasn't been an increase or a new treatment for brain tumours. If you think about all the other advances that we've made with the different cancers, which totally needed to be made, it's absolutely shocking that we're not able to move forward at the same pace with brain tumour research. So that's a very quick whistle-stop tour of why what you're going to be doing over the next weekend is both incredibly important and incredibly difficult. I'm so glad it's you guys doing it rather than me. But again, thank you so much for doing it. You have made such a great difference already. Stop sharing. Does anybody have any questions?
Remember to unmute yourself first.
John, I think you've got a question.
Yes. So what? And this is an overall question, really. But why is funding for cancer not all just lumped into one pot for every cancer, rather than splitting them up? Because it always feels like cancer is competing against every other cancer.
That's a really good question. So I think it's about priorities here. So the way that a lot of medical research works is that if a lot of people have a condition, then that is where the money goes, which is, is absolutely understandable. The greatest good for the greatest number of people. Unfortunately, that does mean that because brain tumours affect 16,000 people, it means that we are slightly behind, which is why we have to keep pushing and why we have to keep engaging with the government. Now, there is some good news on this, in that people remember that Tessa Jowell unfortunately died of a brain tumour. And after she died, there was the Tessa Jowell Brain Tumour Foundation, which has 60 million to spend on research. The interesting thing there is that to access that 60 million pounds, you have to do quite a bit of basic science, and that basic science isn't there at the moment. It hasn't been pushed forward. So what we're actually doing is we're coming in and we're seed funding that basic science, so the researchers can then move forward and they can get hold of that Tessa Jowell money.
Okay, cool.
So this money is going to be used for 2 PhD students for research, is that right?
So this money is going to be used. So I think that's a really good question. That's a discussion that I need to have with Nick and Tom about exactly where they want that money to go. What I would suggest in that conversation is that it would be fantastic if we could have the money as what we call unrestricted money. And unrestricted money is absolutely vital for charities, because unrestricted money means that we can hive off that money as it's needed. So for instance, if we need a little bit more in campaigning, or if we need a little bit more to go to Queen Mary or down to Plymouth, then that's what we can do.
Right, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Oh, good.
Cool. Thank you very much, Michael. Yeah, I think the particular pertinent bit for me is the research into the stage 1 and 2 growth. I think that was the thing about Jonathan, how quickly it all happened. It shocked us all. So I guess that's really important. Michael, do you mind just talking very briefly about the tile that's going to be put up in the research centre?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely no problems. So in each of our research centres, we have what we call a wall of hope. And the wall of hope represents 365 days. And we've worked out that if we want to fund each research centre to the tune of £1 million, that works out at 2,740 days. Sorry, £2,740 each day. So because you're well on your way to hitting £12,000, what we'll do is we'll divide £12,000 by 2,740, and that is the number of tiles that you guys can have on the wall of hope in whichever research centre you fancy. On what we're talking to Nick and Tom and the rest of you guys about is having all of those tiles in a big lump together, so that can really commemorate Jonathan. And what we'll do is we'll make sure that it's not only got his name, but we'll also have some kind of logo across it, so it really stands out.
Cool. Thank you, Michael. Really appreciate that. And I guess you're staying around to the end, so if there's any more questions towards the end, we can go through them then. So Tommy, over to you. Do you have any tips, advice, anything for us to keep us going through the challenge? And thank you for joining.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me on. Firstly, I just want to say well done to everyone for agreeing to put your bodies through this. It's going to be a grueling time, I'm sure. I've got to be honest, I wouldn't like to be putting my body in that situation. You know, that sort of work, 4 miles on its own is tough, let alone doing it every 4 hours for 2 days. So obviously committing to that, well done to you all. And I hope you all managed to come through it relatively unscathed. And obviously it's for a fantastic cause, so well done for all the money that you've raised towards that as well, you know, and hopefully there's a lot more to come as well. But in terms of keeping yourselves fit and able to try and complete this challenge, it's not going to be easy, like I said, but I think an important one is after you've completed each stretch, make sure you do give yourself a little bit of time to stretch, because if I completed a 4 mile run and I didn't stretch and then 4 hours later I tried to do it again, I'd be stiff as a board. So I think it's important to try. I know it'll be hard because you'll be knackered after your first 4 miles and every subsequent one. But make sure you try and just give yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes, for a little stretch of your calves, hamstrings, quads, glutes, lower back, just to try and avoid that onset of muscle fatigue for as long as possible. It's going to hit you at some point, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, just try and keep on top of that. And then once you've completed the whole challenge, this is one of the worst things that I can do, but it's so effective, is try and make yourselves an ice bath and plonk yourselves in there. You know, it's horrible, but it really does work in alleviating sort of delayed onset of muscle soreness, as we call it in the sports industry. So, but once again, I mean, fantastic that you're all doing this, and I look forward to seeing how much more money is raised because of it.
Make you muted.
Sorry, the laptop froze. Right. I was trying to unmute. Thank you very much, Tom. That's really great advice. I think, by the time we get around to the 9th, 10th leg and our body's destroyed, I think we won't want to get in an ice bath, but I think that's probably going to be the only option.
Mhm.
Any questions for Tommy, for anyone? Any particular concerns?
You weren't suggesting an ice bath after every run, were you?
No, I think that'll probably be worse for you because that'll stiffen you right up. This is just for at the end when you've completed the challenge, just to sit there between 5 and 10 minutes. They say the optimum time is. So if you can bear it for that long, well done, because it's not easy.
What about food? What's your go-to meal for a big football match?
I think in the build-up, so tonight would have been the night to carb load, really. So your pastas, rice, things like that. You don't want to be filling yourself up too much immediately before running each 4 mile because you'll be so heavy and quite lethargic. So you just want to eat sort of more snacky type meals, smaller meals in the lead up to it. And again, I should have mentioned this before as well. After every run, you need to try and get yourself an electrolyte drink to try and replace the salts and stuff and sugar that you'll lose during the exercise, and also a little bit of protein as well to try and repair the muscles straight away. Whether that is a protein shake or any protein-filled food, there's eggs, chicken, other meats, fish, all full of protein. So try and get a little bit of protein on board after each segment, and a little bit of electrolyte drink, which can be Lucozade, things like that. Powerades, things like that. So
Right.
Nice one, thank you.
Well, thanks, Tommy. I think if a professional footballer wouldn't want to do this challenge, I don't know what we've all got ourselves in. It's a bit of a worry. Right, so hand over to Tom and John, who's just going to talk about the logistics on the day.
Yep. We want to, for social media wise, to film the weekends. We want to get like a quick 10-second video of you guys per run, before and after. So it'll be on how you're feeling, where you're doing the challenge. So obviously we've got people in Australia, Canterbury, all over the place. So make that clear. And sort of meals between the races, get videos of that, any stretches, any funny moments when you wake up after the 4 a.m. run or just before the 4 a.m. run, anything like that. Celebrations afterwards, of course, is very crucial. The aim for this is to do a video like we've done before the challenge, of everyone gets together with their signs to do a follow-up one of completing it. We're hoping to do separate videos and one group video. So we'll do like a family one, we'll do work and friends one and things like that. And then one whole one, which we can all keep and share and remember of what we've achieved, hopefully. And then when we're uploading the videos, it'll be, we need to tag our social media, which is Instagram 4.4.48.JonathanWake and Facebook challenges for Jonathan. And then we'll go from there. Sophie very kindly is sorting that out. But also remember to include the GoFundMe link, which is on the WhatsApp group. We can keep sharing that as well, so you've got that. And that'll be good.
Okay.
So I think we'll send out a document after this call around what we want to do in terms of the photos and videos, but I think it's really important that we throughout the event keep sharing the photos and videos both on the official social media pages, on the official Instagram and Facebook, but also on your personal ones, so we continue getting the donations in throughout the weekend. And then, as Tom said, if we can get as much content as possible, so we can produce another sort of 3-4 minute video afterwards, and we can have that for memories, but also keep the donations coming in well into next week. That'd be brilliant.
Nick, can I just jump in on the fundraising thing?
Yes.
So two things. One is, if you're putting anything on social media, please do include our brain tumour research tags, which can be found on our website, which is www.braintumorresearch.org. The second thing is just on fundraising. If you're posting on any kind of social media, get your friends and the people that you know on social media to put it out to their networks. Because the best thing about this is that it can go from one person to another person to another person to another person. So if you keep doing that, then you'll get a huge amount of donations.
Cool, thank you. Tom?
Yeah, so lastly, I also forgot to mention Brain Tumour Research are doing a Wear Hats with Flowers Day. A lot of us have got pink hats, so if we could all, if we haven't got hats, make hats with flowers on, stick them on. We've got some nice examples. I've got one here actually. I haven't designed it yet. But yeah, that's the idea. And then we'll get pictures of that and help them out that way as well. It's yeah, it's on the Friday. So yeah, in Woodbridge, we're going to wear these pink shirts on the Friday with the pink hats. I know, Fran, you've got some in Kent. And then on the Sunday, we'll wear our personalised shirts as well, if you've got those. And yeah, then lastly, I just wanted to say again a huge thank you on behalf of, you know, the Wake family, Danny, Dad's twin brother Stephen, for everyone getting involved and doing this crazy challenge. I remember when the idea came about, Jono was actually lying on the kitchen floor and said, "What about this?" We then immediately contacted Nick, who's been amazing at organising all this, and immediately jumped on it and said, "Right, let's do it in 2 weeks." Which thankfully Jono said, "No, let's wait." So we waited 6 weeks later for Father's Day weekend, which is obviously you know, perfect weekend for me particularly. And from then, with the family involved and having around 20 runners, and then contacting Fran, who seemed admittedly nervous when I explained what we were doing. And I explained the idea. And then, yeah, I'd never have even dreamed of the support we've had from you guys for Dad, which followed, which was, you know, within 4 days, we had a group chat of over 100 runners and cyclists, which is just incredible. And then with that, to receive so many messages, videos, pictures, the positivity, support and condolences, honestly, was really so uplifting to myself and the Wake family. I'd like to again say thank you to Sophie and partner Nathan for your support, your ideas, and Sophie for your incredible job on our social media sites. We really wouldn't have got the donations we have without you, and the organisation has been brilliant from yourself and Nathan. So thank you, and how you've done it, working full time as well, is incredible. And at the start, when we created the GoFundMe page, we put the target as 5,000, which seemed very ambitious considering the coronavirus lockdown climate. But thanks to you again and your positivity in these uncertain times, we pushed it more than double our target to 11,000, which, you know, with everything going on in the world, is an incredible feat. So thank you so much. And lastly, I just want to say this challenge is, you know, perfect for the current situation we're in lockdown. I think mentally it's been really tough on a lot of people. I know it has for me particularly, and for anyone that was close to Dad. And although as physical as this challenge is, it really is about us being together and staying mentally positive with no sleep somehow, and carrying on and pushing each other on like we've done so much this last month. Without all of you, lockdown and these last few months would have been far, far more difficult for me, my brother, Stephen, and the rest of the family. So thank you again.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add to that and just say, that like it's sometimes based on what Tom was saying about lockdown, we are in the midst of a global pandemic, which sometimes it kind of doesn't feel real. And we'll look back on this moment for years to come, tell our children about it, and to be part of this this challenge has been amazing. That in these times, for all of us to have honoured a great man, a great friend, and a great family member, and to raise as much money as we have for a fantastic cause, which Michael's gone into. I think it's important that each one of us take a minute to recognise the importance and significance of your own actions, because what you've done is incredible. And 10K, as Tom said, is double our target, which is astounding. And let's just see whether we can build on what we've already accomplished and stretch it further. So well done to everyone. It's amazing. Thank you.
So after that mic drop of a speech from Tom and Jono, we got to reposition our laptop, otherwise we're going to die and run out of battery. Has anyone got any final questions or anything before we?
Yeah. Can I just say that Jonathan would be so proud of you three. Absolutely. Of what you've achieved.
Thanks, Dad. Anything else from anyone? Anyone got any questions about the challenge itself? Hopefully none of you think that it's only 4 miles over the 48 hours. You all got it as 4 miles every 4 hours.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Anything else from anyone?
Is everyone aware that we've just tipped over 11,000?
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Fantastic news.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, massive thank you. And I'll be sending around this doc later. But is that you, Hayley?
It was me, yes. I don't know why it's all echoey. Can I just say how proud I am? Hang on, I think I've got it on my iPhone as well. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, sorry, it's because I had it on my iPhone as well. Can I just say how proud I am? You Wake Boys have been truly amazing. You really have. Obviously, Tom's my son. I'm so proud of him. Nick and Jono, you've been so supportive to Tom as well. Abigail's been brilliant, chipping in her little videos, etc. And one thing I really want to say is that your dad would have wanted you to enjoy the challenge. That would be, he always enjoyed his challenges. So please, please make sure that this weekend, although it's going to be bloody hard, excuse me for swearing, but just enjoy it as well. Okay? And well done.
Thanks, Hayley. Thank you. Abigail, are you wearing that on the day of the challenge?
Yeah, it's going to have flowers on though.
Nice. Like it. Abigail's our challenge clown. There'll be lots of videos from her. Cool. All right, well, let's leave it there. But as we start the challenge, I think we all need everyone's encouragement, and I'll send around in a bit what we do with all the videos and photos. But if we can continue to post on the WhatsApp, post photos, videos, encouragement, everything to keep us all going, that would be amazing. And we should look to do a celebratory Zoom at some point after the challenge as well. Yeah. All right, thanks everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Good luck, everyone.